This is Deep Red, the 1975 Italian giallo film from Dario Argento, the beloved filmmaker that made many influential films, such as Suspiria and Phenomena, those being my two other favorites from him. So, in case you're not really familiar with Argento, or with giallo itself, it's a horror subgenre that has a heavy blend of mystery and horror, and usually mixes slasher elements with erotica. It's a very vast subgenre, and a lot of them are inspired directly by Dario Argento's films. The one that we're exploring today is Deep Red, which came out during the height of the giallo craze, and it's considered one of his best movies. It stars David Hemmings, who plays a pianist. He's walking late one night when he witnesses a murder in an apartment. He rushes to the scene just in time to discover the body and see the killer escape wearing black gloves and a leather jacket. The police interview him and he could move on with his life, but something is bothering him. The scene of the crime feels altered, like something is missing. One of the paintings in the hallway, or he can't quite place it. A journalist takes his picture as a witness, but all that this accomplishes is painting a giant target on his back. But instead of running, he decides to look into some rumors, and he starts to untangle a web of mysteries, each thread ending with another death. Before I start revealing all the twists and turns in this story, I'd like to start off by applauding Dario Argento for his incredible filmmaking here. Deep Red is a bit more grounded than some of his later movies. This one is more like his traditional whodunit murder mysteries, and it really doesn't have any supernatural elements. This is a slasher through and through. If I'm going to compare this, it's going to be something from earlier in his career, like The Bird with the Crystal Plumage or The Cat O' Nine Tails. I feel like by this point in his career, he has really hit his stride. The movie is gorgeous, the set design is fantastic, the camera work is creative and interesting, and pretty much every technical element is top-notch. This is Dario Argento firing on all cylinders. Seriously, this movie is just fun to watch. One of my favorite aspects to his movies is his collaboration with the band Goblin, which does this really unique electronic score. It's a bit eerie and energetic, but it mixes jazz, rock, and metal to make this really ambitious sound. The killer in the movie is a bit mentally unwell, and there's this creepy children's song that they play whenever they commit a murder, kinda like a ritual. No matter what's happening, the audio for Deep Red is outstanding. And Argento's movies never clash with the tone of the music. Actually, everything from the editing to the character movements just synchronize perfectly with the music. You're going to be tapping your feet while watching this, and it helps carry some of the slower aspects of the movie. Oh, and another fun thing about this guy is that his movies are absolutely brutal. He loves using POV shots for the killer, and there's moments that just feel downright sickening. But the music gets you pumped up, so it's all good. All of these Argento staples are shining bright here, and one of these staples is the formula. We know the killer isn't going to be revealed until the final act. But the general rule here is that the killer has to be somebody that we've already met. And all signs are pointing to the journalist, this woman that has befriended the pianist and is helping with his investigation. The chemistry between these two is terrific, and I really like every scene that they're in together. It would also make sense that the killer would be a woman, because our main character seems to be a bit sexist, and he underestimates women, while she's also constantly pulling her own weight, and, well, somehow the killer seems to be one step ahead of him every time. We know that she can't be acting alone, but she does seem suspicious. But this isn't the case. She isn't the killer, but the killer is a woman, someone we met very briefly earlier in the movie. And her accomplice turns out to be her son, who is the alcoholic friend of our main character. It works, everything ties together, and it makes enough sense. But I will say the actual plotline, the story beats, and the detective work, it's all a bit far-fetched, maybe even ridiculous. One of those stories where when you put all the pieces together, it's barely feasible, and frankly, it's just a bit silly. It isn't Hitchcock, and sometimes logic goes out the window, but it's just clever enough to work. One of the best things about revisiting Deep Red is picking up on all those little clues that are sprinkled throughout the movie. This thing rewards you for paying attention. And with a movie like Deep Red, it's impossible not to pay attention. The camera is rarely stagnant, the music is upbeat, the pacing is quick and exciting, and the camera work and editing is engaging. This is a top-tier Argento flick, through and through. And despite any small nitpicks I have, I really do have a deep appreciation for Deep Red.